While Lionel Messi may be arguably the greatest player to have ever walked the planet, there are certain things about the Barcelona star that can potentially tarnish his reputation. Although you would rarely see the Argentine forward lose his head on the pitch, you can never doubt the fact that Messi is a true game changer. Hello everyone and welcome to yet another exciting video on your favourite channel, GoalSide. Make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you never have to miss out on all the great stuff we have available in our content library. We post fresh content every single day so that you're always up to date about the latest happenings in the game. Before we begin, make sure to watch the full video so that you get a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card by answering a question that we will ask at some point in the video. Today we're going to talk about Lionel Messi and the dark side of the Argentine international. In football, you've come across some of the greatest athletes of our time. Some of these guys have excelled both on and off the field, while some have become more famous for what they've achieved outside the pitch. David Beckham, for instance, was a great player in his prime, but the fact that he married Victoria Adams, of famous girl band the Spice Girls, made him a universally renowned fashion icon. In a similar vein, George Best was perhaps the greatest player to have ever played for Manchester United. Every time he donned the red jersey, the Northern Irishman would upstage everyone around him, thanks to his brilliance on the ball. However, during his playing days, Best was more renowned for his partying lifestyle, a reputation that stuck with him before he passed away. In today's video, we're not just going to talk about the facts that prove Lionel Messi's dark side actually exists, but we'll also talk about some of the players who had their own demons that never allowed them to flourish the way their talents warranted. Messi is a selfish player. It's hard to call Messi a selfish player given the fact that he's one of the leading assists providers in Barcelona history, but sadly, Messi is as selfish as they come. Although many consider Ronaldo to be the one who plays for himself, that could not be further from the truth. If you analyse any of Messi's game, you might notice that the Blaugrana legend finds it hard to look at his teammates when he's in the attacking third. There may be better options ahead of him, but Messi prefers going all the way. Is it because he's too confident in his ability to get the job done, or is it just the small fact that the Argentine doesn't like sharing the stage with anyone? Now imagine if Messi would pass the ball to a better positioned teammate in the final third. That would make his assists record even better. What do you think? Should Messi be less selfish and try to make players around him better? Let us know in the comments what you think. Lack of effort when contributing in defence. If you look at some of Barcelona's previous games, especially those in which the Catalan Giants were faced up against a rather superior opposition, the whole team presses further up the pitch in order to win back possession. This is something that we've been seeing for a number of years. Another thing that we've been seeing but not observing is that Lionel Messi doesn't contribute much to the team's offensive pressing. Now we know that you might be calling us Messi haters or Ronaldo lovers, but do the stats really lie? Now in this particular distance covered statistic for this season in the Champions League, you will notice that Messi doesn't really cover a lot of ground unlike players who operate from similar positions. We agree that Messi isn't necessarily a runner and it's his sudden burst that makes him an asset for his team. However, when the team is under pressure, it requires an all-hands-on-deck approach where everyone contributes. But Messi doesn't participate in this process, which really impacts his team's performances and ability to recover possession. Moreover, this also increases the workload for his other teammates. But yeah, Messi is probably that good, so he doesn't need to do these things. Now the next thing about Messi actually makes him who he is, but at the end of the day, the fact that Messi doesn't enjoy having to sit out games can at times make him a liability. Now this is what shows his hunger to be at the forefront of everything. But on the flip side, a tired Messi or a Messi not at 100% makes things difficult for the team. Throw in the fact that opponents do love to have a go at him, and that makes him even more vulnerable. Perhaps in the long run, this might cause him to burn out. Locker room division. You may never hear this from an official source, but it's true that Messi has always wanted to be the main man. This is why everything related to Barcelona's performances on the pitch always ends up finding its way to their star forward. If Barcelona do well, it's because of Messi, even though many good results were based on a combined effort rather than individual brilliance. This has resulted in the player treating himself as the raison d'etre for the club. Now if you don't really believe us, let's just take a look at some of the cases that has made Messi think that way. When he was just an up-and-coming talent, Samuel Eto'o was in his prime and scoring goals for fun. The Cameroon international struck a great partnership with Ronaldinho and guided the club to great heights. However, once Eto'o wanted to be given the same salary as Messi, who was way younger than him, the striker was moved on to Internazionale. In order to replace the Cameroon legend, Barcelona brought on Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The larger-than-life striker was supposed to usher the Spaniards to another era of unprecedented success. However, it eventually got pretty clear that Pep Guardiola never really saw the Swede as his main man. Zlatan would only spend one season at Camp Nou before moving AC Milan, where he is still remembered very fondly. The Swede was scoring goals on a regular basis and was definitely not a failure at Barcelona. Sadly though, something much darker was brewing behind the scenes. If you happen to read The Messi Mystery, written by Sebastian Fest and Alex Juilliard, you'd get a first-hand account of how Messi pushed Ibra out of the club. Messi, upon finding out that Zlatan was signing for the club, sent Guardiola a message where the basic gist was that he was insecure about his future at the club. In the midst of it, Messi was failing to shine on a regular basis and Ibrahimovic was playing ever so well. That was definitely not a great thing for the Argentine. Soon after a bright start to his career at Barcelona, Ibrahimovic was later moved out of position. The Swede started playing out wide, while Messi started playing through the middle. That change affected Ibra's productivity, who would score 21 goals in 45 appearances for the Spanish Giants. Indeed, Zlatan did not take kindly to how he was treated and went on to write in his autobiography about the whole episode, and even went on to say, "As a coach, Guardiola was fantastic. As a person, I have no comments about that, that's something else. He's not a man, there's nothing more to say." Indeed, Messi's alleged text to Guardiola resulted in the tactician being singled out by Zlatan, while Messi once again proved that he's one of those players who do tend to feel insecure by their teammates. Another great example of how Messi's insistence of being the top dog makes others around him look ordinary is how most players don't do well once they come to Barcelona. Arda Turan, for instance, was one of the best wingers on the planet when he moved to Camp Nou. However, his ability to be a commanding presence down the right side of the flank meant that he was hogging Messi's preferred zones. The Turkish international eventually became a bit part player before returning to Turkey. David Villa was one of the best forwards in Spanish football history, but quietly gave up on his strengths in order to accommodate Messi and enjoy a decent career at Barcelona. When Neymar arrived at Camp Nou, he was heralded as a future Ballon d'Or winner. The Brazilian had a great start to his career at Barcelona, but the fact that Messi was always seen as the top dog, the talented forward never stood a chance to actually come out of the Argentine shadow. Perhaps this was the reason why he left for Paris Saint-Germain, as opposed to the "he went for the money" theory that has been stuffed down our throats for a number of years. What if Messi accepted Neymar as the club's future? Would that have made the forward stay? What do you think? One of the most important patterns that we have observed in Barcelona's transfer market dealings is the sorts of players the Blaugrana signs. In recent years, a lot of rumours have been swirling around Messi, dictating the club's transfer policy. A player who Messi doesn't feel is going to be the right fit for him is simply chalked off a shortlist. A few years ago, the Mirror claimed that Antoine Griezmann's transfer to Barcelona was not approved by Messi, who feared that it would have a negative impact on Luis Suarez's playing time. Indeed, Messi is very comfortable with the Uruguayan on the pitch. But now the Frenchman is at the club, and though he might be struggling, we kind of suspect that Griezmann will not be able to realise his true potential at Camp Nou. Time for our question, guys. Can you tell us which club Antoine Griezmann played for before Atletico Madrid? While Messi has a pretty decent disciplinary record on the pitch, the 2008 incident against Malaga doesn't put him in a good light. Malaga player Duda made life hard for him, and eventually Messi lost it and spat in the player's direction. That wasn't really something befitting of a player who's idolised by millions around the globe. In football, it's customary for opponents to shake hands and acknowledge supporters regardless of the outcome of a game. A lot of time people have pointed out that Ronaldo is not graceful in defeat. However, what Messi did following the 3-0 defeat at the hands of Croatia in the 2018 World Cup was something that really disappointed us. The forward was unable to get Argentina put on a show and cut a frustrated figure throughout the game. Once the game ended, Messi would trudge off the pitch without speaking to anyone, let alone congratulate Croatian players for putting in such a commanding display. Similarly, after being held to a draw with Iceland, the team organised a barbecue in an effort to lift the mood. Everyone showed up but Messi, who reportedly preferred to remain in his room alone. Whether you love him or hate him, it's clear that Messi has quite a few problems that indicate a player who's never really satisfied with what he has. Despite being given so much respect and more at Barcelona, the forward has shown that he's never too far away from an implosion. While no one can deny his talent, but the fact is that Messi's behaviour can be a little strange at times, but thankfully, his overall performances and achievements allow those issues to be overlooked.